Welcome back. Those of you already know who I am. I'm Dr. George Mochocki. This is Sports Marketing Online, Marketing 105, offered by Harper College. So this is going to be a real quick, remember I always told you I was going to give you a quick overview how you did well in last week's discussion and homework and everything else and how you're doing and what's happening this week. Okay, so last week your journals, you did well on the journals. Very easy on those, easy. You know what I mean? Remember, your journal's supposed to be what did I actually learn out of the class? It's just like a reflection paper, for lack of better words. So here's what I've done all week long, and I didn't know this, or I've learned this. So try to, and remember, try to going forward. I'm looking at you to start utilizing some of the vocabulary or some of the context. Okay, the next thing you had your quizzes. I think everyone did very well on the quizzes. Some not so good. If you haven't read the book or haven't listened to my lectures, understandable. You just can't just pull it out of the air. The author, the book, the reading, the homework, the discussion boards, all those basically are one way of addressing different senses so that you'll be able to learn the material. Remember, this is sports marketing is no different than regular marketing, just focusing on the entertainment section of marketing, how to, and after that, you start going down to the niche. Who are my clients that I'm trying to reach? Baseball fans, sports is a general topic. Baseball, hockey, everything we discussed. Okay, so you've got that. The next thing, so discussion board. I'm expecting you to at least reach. I want some interaction in the discussion. Give me a break. Some of you do everything on the last day. That's the last day it's due. If you look at the rubrics, I'm beginning to attach the rubrics now to your discussion board. I will be grading strictly by the rubrics. These first 2 weeks, I was kind of giving you kind of a grading, but I wasn't going line by line because many of you, I wanted you to get used to this online class. A little different than some of the online classes you've had with other instructors here at Harper or in other schools. Mine is very precise, very interactive. You're not just only doing some exams, you are basically learning through interaction and networking, sending skills that you're going to be utilizing in the business world. Remember, you're not going to be able to meet your customer or your clientele all the time or your coworkers or your boss, so you'll be doing it in a virtual environment like this. You do not wait till Saturday, the last day, to do your posting, to respond to everybody, knocking you down, right? The the honeymoon, for lack of better words, over. We're going forward. Make sure you do your first posting. Okay, that's the discussion board. This discussion board, what I've noticed, and I kind of see what happens. Some people, we talked about the NFL. Some individuals basically just looked at other people's posting and kind of just added on to it. They did not respond to me. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to have for this, and I'll go into it for the journal. What do you call it? You're going to go onto page, I think for the discussion board. I'll click on it real quickly, but you're going to go on page 173. Dr. George, I don't have the book. Hey, you should have the book. The book is a resource. Remember, in work, when I would be doing training, given the manual, given the transcripts, I just go over it. The book is your resource that you go through. The course and everything else here is just solidifying what you've learned or expanding or asking questions what you already should have read from the book. So if you don't have a book, you're at a disadvantage, you're losing points, all right? So what I'm going to do now, because some people say I don't need a book, I just read other people, I can kind of get a gist. That's not how you're going to go through it. Your first discussion, when you go in there, you will not see any of the other students posting until you make your main post first. So in this case, you're going to go and you're going to go on page 173 under Internet Exercise and question 3. You have to do something on the web. I'm not going to say that because when you look on it, when you actually go in there, you'll have to look at the book, and so then you'll figure it out. Okay, so that takes care of a discussion board, and then for you want to get the full 10 points, and remember, I'm utilizing a template that's going to be transferred to other instructors who are teaching this class. I may next time give a little more higher points for the discussion because I'm looking more at the interaction. This is, but we already made the agreements going forward. Here's the point. So I'm doing this. Remember, as I mentioned in the first orientation, I'm taking a majority of some of the work that another instructor created, and I'm taking her work and I'm building on this her platform and adding and making it better. In business and in marketing, there's something out there. Worked in one target market, let's go another. But you got to be careful when you're doing the sports market. You don't want to repeat the same kind of theme. It worked well maybe for here, and I want to copy it over. You may get it one or two, but after a while, your customer base, hey, I already read that. They're not innovative. Okay, all right, so we've got that. So remember, you won't see anyone else's post till you reply to my question and you do your post, then everyone else is up. I'm expecting you to at least post something here. Because, I could see some people saying, well, Dr. George, we have to do the homework assignment by then, and by the time I do all that, I don't have enough time to do the posting. I was trying to work it out so you don't have to do multiple things. So what I did, instead of the homework assignment, that you would have, I think I've got one, two, three, two questions. You're going to have three questions. I basically provided you to take two questions for your written assignment. I'll go into that in a little bit. And then the third question is going to be part of your discussion board. So you don't have, and it's usually going to be some kind of an internet exercise to get some information out. So this way you can't, I'm trying to make this flexible and workable so you're still active and still learning for the chapter. Okay? Remember, in this chapter, we're going to be talking about participants as consumers. Remember, you have spectators and participants. Okay? So we're good on that. All right, so we've got the discussion board. Remember, you won't see anybody else. You're waiting for somebody else's posting. Well, no one's posted what's going on. Is because you have to first post and then everything else is open. And if you're the first post, I understand that. So give me some substance. Don't give me one or two paragraphs. Respond to the question, and also provide the linkage on it. So that takes care of our discussion board. And let's see. Okay, so we're done on that. So let's go on there. Okay, now let's go on here. These weekly my homework assignments. Now last week, I know I kind of just jumped back and forth. I did not have chapter 3 in here. And some of you said, well, I would have done better on that. My lectures are just a quick overview. After you read the book and did some of the homework assignment, the book's easy reading, very current. It ties into marketing, it ties in what's happening, even though it's from 2014 and 15. It's very current. Remember, in business, when you're doing your papers and everything else, we're looking at the data information within the last 5 years. The other stuff historical, because I'm most business, even sports, especially sports marketing. My goodness, something happened. I'm looking at an event. How do I jump on the bandwagon and that event be able to motivate or promote my own interests, whether it's selling sports products for a participant or for a spectator, or it's basically for my business to promote my business, and I'm just jumping on the bandwagon. So I got to respond quickly. Sports marketing is quickly taking an opportunity, make that opportunity, and work for it. Okay, so but I included my this one's 36 minutes on research tools for sports marketing. Remember, they talked about secondary and primary. Secondary tools are free. When I say free, they're readily available, but they not be very specific. Usually give me some information about my demographics, age, income, social class, geographic information. And then my primary data, which is more expensive, through surveys, focus groups, and I think there's like 5 other things. Look at it. You should read it. Look at this. I'm trying to make this quickly, and those is where it's costly, but it's looking more at the psychological. How do I get it? And the same thing for participants. It's how to research, how to get data. So when I'm doing my marketing campaign, my integrated marketing campaign, which takes personal selling, and we're going to get into personal selling, advertising, public relations, and marketing, for lack of a better word. What is the campaign for that program or process that I'm trying to stimulate? Okay, so we've got that. Now, remember, here's the one I've got here. And the reason you don't have them in advance, remember, because the author updated this, and I'm trying to update all my lectures. I usually do that this way. I got to read the book just like you do. The information is there. I just want to see the twist or which way he or she is focusing. Since this is just a revision, the other book, excellent job. More information, more links, more data, more stats. Well done. And the book isn't that expensive. You're already paying for college. And I would keep this book. This is a good resource. Okay. All right. So you've got that. Now let's go back in here. So now you're going to go your weekly course materials. Remember, you already had this, and we're doing week 2. So here is going to be week 3. You've got your PowerPoints. I mentioned before these are student PowerPoints that were from the other. For lack of better words, I think the previous version. I'm still trying to find out where I get the students' PowerPoint. You will have access, I think, to the students' PowerPoints if you go into the site that I have in there. The publisher site is in your book. It tells you how to log in and get that information. If someone did find log in and get that information, send me an email how you got in. And, I've got it for the instructors. Mine's a little bit different, and then I'll basically try to update those. And I'll later on talk to the publisher. But I'm doing a recording and everything else. You got my concept maps that are always out there. All right. So read that, assignment 3, and take quiz 3. The assignments, everything else is with the current book. Current information, everything else is because the author did update a lot on them. All right. So here we are. We're in week 3. So what are we going in week 3? You're going to come in here, right? You have that target. You have your written assignment. Fall. That's the rubrics. Now let me explain how I'm doing the rubrics. If you notice, I've kept the same rubrics. The only thing I've changed on some of the written assignments, you've got the rubrics. I've changed some of the points because the way the instructor had it, she had it for 40 points, and basically the way it was set up for this course was for 20, so I had to adjust some of the numbers. So when you're going to go in here on this, so the rubrics are the same. I already adjusted the written assignment rubrics to reflect the points. Instead of 40 points, it's down to 20. And how do I get that? And I'll talk about that in a little bit. You'll have the rubrics are tied with the assignments, and I'll go to that. The journal, the rubrics are okay, and here's the rubrics on that. And those rubrics are going to be embedded. So when you submit it, the rubric is always going to be in here. So let me show you. So this is the assignment, and remember, you're going to go in here, of course, material, your weekly assignments. Here's the materials. You print it out, look at the rubrics and everything else. And then when I'm looking at written assignment 3, you have that. So when you're going to submit the assignments, similar like when you're going to submit your journal, you're going to have a rubric there. So here, I'm going to, you don't see this now because it won't be available till Sunday midnight. But I want you to finish all your work. It's just the way we try to manage your time for you and assist you in managing time. Here's my week's work. And you lay it out, not all in 1 week, all in 1 day. There's no way you're going to pass this class that way. Too hard. That's not the skill sets we want you to develop. I want you to do a little here. That's why I've got the, for lack of better words, the discussion board. You started off a little bit earlier on Wednesday and talk back, read the book, and then you could do your assignments and your quizzes at the end. Try to do your quizzes at the end, then you had the material. Some people already have everything all done. They got the journal, the assignments, and everything. I said, Dr. George, you haven't graded me yet. I just want to see, you shouldn't want to grade, even though you're in there. I know you finished it. It's out of your way. I'll try to grade. I usually do the grading after everyone's submitted. I don't want to grade you harder, and then I realize some of the other students, even though I'm going by the rubric, because you're the first one, I graded you so hard. Usually I find out my first students who post first. That's what you have to do in business. Be ahead of the customer. Provide them the service and what they want before the due dates. As a manager, I love those individuals. It's accurate, but I want to make sure that I'm not too harsh on you versus other students after read them all. So I try to do all the, like later on tonight, when everyone's done, maybe tomorrow morning, I've got a couple classes, a couple online classes and face-to-face classes. I'll do your grading. I sit in there and I'll just follow the rubric. So when you be submitted your assignment, normally you submit it in here. If you notice in here, the assignments are set up where it has, especially the written assignments, there were 20 points, because that's what I had in the syllabi. They have to turn it in for plagiarism. You have to do that, or your assignment is not submitted to me. But before you go in there, again, you'll have the rubric. Here's the adjusted rubric. Going in there, remember, it used to be 5 points and everything else. So you know your rubric. The same rubrics. These information doesn't change. It just changes the point. The only thing I change is outstanding, good, fair. A, B, C, and I think I went with, because I'm not at the bottom here. Oh, here we go. And I think I only went with D. Because I don't have to write nothing. If you didn't do nothing, you got a 0. I don't have to tell you got an F, nothing else. You'll just get a 0 on there. If you submitted something, I'll give you something. But you look at the points. Is it 0.70%, not a full 1 point? This, okay. So you have the information. It tells you the percentages that's in here. Okay? And now what's going to happen? So then remember, I browse my computer, you submit it, accepts all these documents, Safe accepts all the files that are forms to be checked through Safe Assignments. Okay, so you have no problems. Usually I would like a Word document. This is your business. You should be utilizing Microsoft Word. Office, it's available free to the students in your student portal. If you have a Mac, load it down. And because going forward, remember this is a business class. I like Mac, fine, but make sure you convert it to Microsoft Word document, your PowerPoints and everything else. If you would be doing PowerPoints for my class or another class, would have to be presented through Microsoft Word, Excel, everything else. Like this is business, learn it. Your paper, the only thing I'm asking here on your paper is that you submit your papers as your citation APA. I know some of the other ones were ML. ML is basically for lack of better words, if I'm looking at for English or journalist classes, and business, everything is APA, American Psychological Association. I'm not requiring you to do the whole paper as an APA with the formats, the running headers, and everything else. I want citations. So let me show you how easy this is. And the reason I'll know it's an APA citation if you don't have the date in there. Remember, in business, the date that you got the information is very important. I want the most current date that you could find for your topic, and that basically is going to making decisions very quickly within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, so I've got this document open. Let me see, I'll open up Microsoft Word. And this is just something, I'm doing this recording, right? So I do this when I have to do it. So when I'm opening up here, what you're going to find out, you're going to click on your reference. Click on your reference, Microsoft Word. That's why I want you to download. It's free as long as you got a Harper email. It's free to just authenticate it every so often. But as long as you got an active Harper email, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, everything else, once you load it on your desktop or your laptop, you have it. You see the reference? Here's the style. I'm right in here. Let's see, I don't know if I can make it a little bit bigger for you. Some people are saying, Dr. George, a little bit harder. Let's see. It makes this bigger, but doesn't make that bigger. Oh, excuse me. And those of you on there, remember, I'm live. So, okay, let's just go in here. Okay, I can't do it in the system because I'm already locked. I'm recording everything else. All right, so let's see here. You're going to go in your reference, and you see here it says sources. You could drop it down to, some of you could do it to ML, everything else a different edition. APA. Hey, come on, it's even easy for you. It's already out there because it's defaulted alphabetically. Now, I want to insert a citation. Or I'm going to insert a bibliography. What's a citation? A citation, I'm quoting somebody verbatim, or I'm referencing that. That should be into your, in parentheses, tell me right there. The bibliographies that you utilize that as resources. Microsoft Word, when you do this, it'll have that, and it'll also have you the back page in there. So I'm going to insert a citation. That's what I want to do. Or you want citation and bibliography, you can do both. Okay, it's a new source. And voila, what is it going to tell you? Where did you get the source from? Is it from an interview? Is it from an art? Is it from a sound recording? Is it from a journal entry? Is it from conference? Is it from, what else? Let's do an interview. I'm just going to say, and I'm going to interview, you're going to interview Dr. George, because down the road you'll be doing an interviewing, asking someone in how they market in regards to sports, not now. And then, right, and I'm going to do the tab. I'm going to come back in here, interview you, me, student, George, okay? And the thing that's important is the year. So this 2018, and tab, and I'm going to go February, because that's the month, and tab, and let's say, remember, I've already typed something in here, and today is the, I don't know, 25th, I think, okay? And I go, okay. And you see, now remember, if I would be, just assume I had writing all in here, blah, 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 all right? I had everything all writing in here. So it tells me who the author is, George, that's who I'm interviewing, and it gives me the year. That's how I know you have an APA citation. If you had an MLL, it just have maybe this information doesn't have the year. Okay? Maybe it has a page reference or something else. Remember, real quickly, all I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to teach you all APA with the running and headers. I'll let your other classes. Remember, in psychology and business, because we basically have to have the most current data. I'm looking at the current data, and there's okay. That's why I know if you don't have that current data set up that way, points are taken off, and I already adjusted that. All right, are we good? Okay, so I'm out of there. Don't save. Okay, let me just. My computer's a little bit slow today for some reason. Let me just go back in here. I don't have to worry. All right, and then remember, so you either attach the file, and then you just submit it. This way, I'm canceled because as an instructor, I can't attach my own file. It kind of messes up the system. So we're all set. So you have that, your weekly quizzes, right? I'll have that one open for you again. It's taking a little slow to clear this one, and you'll see quiz 2. I haven't put it in yet, and the quizzes, everything else, are all new quizzes, all new questions, and I populate them, and you're coming out, so you can't really cheat from your friends. I think I have like 75 questions per each chapter, and I ask you 20 questions out of the 75. And they're random, so I don't know which ones are on there. Remember, you don't have a final exam, so this way, and you have, I give you more. I'm supposed to only give you 30 seconds per question. On online, I give you a little bit more since this is an intro class. I want you to learn the subject matter. Make sure you do well. So remember, if you're taking this online class, the quizzes right now, I'm not forcing you to do what you call responses. Or Harper College down the road. Sometimes, right now, I'm not doing this. I don't know why I should be doing it, but I will be down the road because this intro class, so many I don't have that time. My blended sports marketing class, I'll show students how to set up the web camera. But just understand, if you're taking other online classes, or even with me for some of the advanced classes, you will take online quizzes. You will have a camera, and you'll have to show your ID card, and your browsers are all locked up. And while you're doing the quizzes, you're being recorded. And then when you turn it around, if you move away like I did from here to look at my notes coming back, it'll give a flag. You moved out of the range of your camera. That means you're cheating or something else, and it stops the test, and you'll no longer be able to take the test. And some people say that's an invasion of privacy. I understand that. Then you can come into the main campus and take the exam. Trust me, I take quizzes online when I'm taking some of my professional development classes, and they're using that format. You still have the flexibility. Remember, open 24/7. I think this week, I'm not mistaken, I think this week I'm going to do a water cooler. I haven't put it in there, but you'll see in the discussion board, I may do like a water cooler discussion. So you could ask any questions that you may want, yes or no, and I'll let you know on that. There'll be another discussion board open underneath the discussions, and it'll say discussion. When you go weekly discussion, you'll have this. Let's look at our weekly discussion. I didn't put it in there now because I'm doing this live. You'll have this one, and week 2, and you'll have week 3. Basically, week 3 you'll have the book, the website's what you need, and then under week 3 you'll have another discussion that's worth maybe 4 points, and it's just a water cooler. Any questions you have, Dr. George? And this is just so you get used to it. And then in a few weeks, we're going to have a live water cooler discussions. And by then, I know who's dropped my class, who hasn't dropped my class. I think my numbers, I start off with 25. 6 never even ever signed up for, and never opened up Blackboard, so they just probably forgot, even though I reminded them. And the other ones, it's the week 2. By week 3, pretty soon I'll have to do, have you been attending or anything else? And some students are just filling out the class. Whether you're taking myself or another instructor face-to-face, it's going to be similar format. Okay, so everything you're doing here, the only thing that's happening here is that your discussion board replaces the, what do you call, a lecture in the classroom. Okay, so we have everything, remember? And then, as always, I've updated, where's my students' mind maps. I want you to remember, here's your mind maps. I got it by the chapters. Click it on there, and then you have everything you want on my mind maps as they open up. Okay, and I would print them out so you have a general idea what the chapter is about. and then you would remember, here's the information. Anything you have a plus, you have to basically, for lack of better words, you add it in. So you write it in with your own hands. I don't have I have a tablet. I do the writing. I didn't have it up there, but I would print this out, and then what is the model of attitude formation? And this is what we'll be covering. Okay. So we should be doing pretty good. Again, you're doing well. Hang in there. We're in week 3. Going forward, I'm learning a lot. Most of you are very. I've got. I think the majority of the students are doing A's and B's. The ones who have never signed up or that haven't done any of the homework, any of the journals. Like, what do you expect? You got an F. You still got time to catch up, at least get a C out of this class. So if you're on the cuff and you're going, oh, well, I already spent the money, I passed the due date, might as well complete the class. I always strive for the A. If for some reason you didn't get it because whatever reason, go for the B. If you can't get the B, go for the C. Try not to get the D. The D is still good for the course. You could do your good for your to get your certificate here at Harper or your graduation. But if you decide to go for a 4-year university and marketing is your expertise, geez, you at least want to be B's and A's. So D is not transferable. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to week 3, taking this class fully online at Harper College. And I'll see you in the discussion board. And remember, the journals are more for you. What did I learn? I take classes of professional growth, even though I teach the subject material. Sometimes it's a refresher because we forget. Other times, I didn't look at it that way. That's how I learn. My classes, if you haven't, I'm always adjusting, just like we're doing with this class. After I finish this class and do my changes to this template, it'll go back to the originator who created this course fully online, and she'll look at it, and then it'll be certified. And all other instructors, they already got the main template, and they'll, like any classroom, they'll be able to adjust. All right, so you're doing well, and I'll see you in the discussion board. Thank you. Let's see if I'm under 20 minutes. 26 minutes. Not too bad, but there's a lot. You learned a lot about, APA, the form. When you're looking at the rubrics, when you get your grade, it's going to be graded by the rubrics. I'm going to read it, very little comments inside that section. All the comments can be in the rubric. So if your grammar is wrong or this is wrong, I don't like to doing work twice. This is here's your paper. Sometimes if it's really good, I may put some comments in it, but basically rubrics will have your how you've been graded, so this way you know what's, remember, in marketing or anything else, I have to understand what are the requirements, what are the, how are they evaluating me, for lack of better words. Oh, now I'm at 27 minutes.